How's it going, guys? Copy here. Today I wanted to go over the recommended path for crafting items in Torchlight. I'm going to cover what I do for crafting and the way that I recommend doing it. There are obviously going to be better ways to do things if you want to make the absolute perfect gear. I guess maybe not better, but you might basically want to scale up what I do and take it even further, or fully craft items, from the very, very basis. Depending on how much money you're trying to spend, but this should be the route to cover all the different crafting routes you want to take, whether you're just trying to get starter items that are going to be as cheap as possible, or whether you're trying to make endgame items, which is something I don't typically do myself, but we will still cover that in this video. So I've gone ahead and I've put this up into the spreadsheet, and there's going to be three main ones that you basically are going to end up doing, three different strategies. The first one is going to be buying a base that is level 85 to 99 that has the mods that you want, and you want to make sure that it has 80 plus plasticity. So for this, let's go ahead and showcase. We'll go find an item. So say we're looking for a ring, for example. We would basically put our thing that we want here. Let's say we want a ring. We want to make sure we set the minimum item level to 85, the maximum item level to 99. And for the plasticity, we want to set this to a minimum of like 80. And say we wanted a ring with curse effect and energy shield on it. And so the thing that you're going to be able to get with this is that, so we want to set basically the minimum to probably be like tier 3 or maybe even tier 2. What we're going to be looking for with this is where you can kind of get yourself and save yourself some money. So say for example, this curse effect here is going to be tier 2, but we'll be able to push both these mods up for basically free. So if you find things and you are looking for specific things, you can probably search for like 3 mods that you wanted. So say that I wanted like resistance as well. Whether that's we'll just say I wanted erosion resistance on it, or if I wanted it with, where's like the combo res here? Erosion and thing res. Let's just look for any res on here real fast. Lightning res. And we can find one cheap so I can showcase an example of kind of pushing mods up here. Cold res. Here we go. So here's one we can kind of showcase the example of what you can do. So with this, you see the plasticity is 100. We're going to go ahead and buy this one here. And then what we can do, because this item is not level 100, the cost of actually pushing these other mods here. So when we purchase this item, the cost of pushing a mod from tier 3 to tier 2, if this item is level 100, would cost, I believe, 10 or 20 FE. And then to push the mod from tier 2 to tier 1 costs at least 30 FE if you were doing it with an item that was level 100. But because this item is not level 100, it just uses this ground quartz, which if you look at the price of it, this stuff is basically free, right? So we're able to push this mod. So we can push this mod here. It's going to use some of the plasticity, but that's fine. So we could use this to basically get a very, very cheap... oh, we got unlucky enough to actually... we shouldn't have clicked this one to tier... 1 first. We got unlucky enough to actually use all the plasticity. Typically you'd have enough here to be able to use or to push both mods over to tier 1, but sometimes you get unlucky and it does use like the whole 46. So worst case scenario, even with this, we're getting a very cheap triple T1 with a T2 here that basically costs us 25 FE. I bet if we actually look at the price of these rings now, with the curse effect as well, well, I guess none of these are going to have the curse effect, but just the tier 1s of both of these is going to typically already be more than this price, right? With a higher amount of cold res on it or a higher amount of res, pushing these mods is going to be cheaper this way, and then you can still target process this the same way in order to finish out the item. But this is something that you can do, like this is how I got my ring here, with this 5T1 ring. I ended up basically doing this, or I ended up pushing this one to plasticity. This had really, really low mods on it, but it had like the spread of mods that I needed. So I was able to push this to tier 1 and this to tier 1 and push this to tier 2, push this up to tier 2. And then I was able to craft like the last piece I needed. I had another belt that was very similar before I swapped my gear over. This chest is another one where I did the same thing. I bought it. I pushed the mods to tier 1 using the plasticity here. You can see I specifically bought a base that wasn't level 100 so I could do that. The next crafting that you would do would be to, say you are trying to make a staff similar to this one here, which is going to be 4 T0s or even 3 T0s. Your best bet is to basically find the 2 most important mods on the weapon you're looking for. So say I was trying to basically craft a staff for my character, which is for Erica 2. This is the same staff base you would use if you were purchasing a staff for Iris as well. So you buy it with the 2 mods that you want on here that are already T0. It is important that depending on what you're trying to craft, you most likely want the 3rd like dead mod to be a prefix on here because there are better suffixes that you're trying to craft. For your prefixes, you're just trying to craft % additional damage to % additional damage. So I'll go ahead and showcase that and we'll craft this. So the way that we'd go about finishing this item out is we're going to target process our mods here. So the mod we're looking for is this additional spell damage here. And then for our suffixes, if we're trying to make this a more perfect staff, then we would be basically clicking for curse effect. And then we would also be clicking for double damage. This is going to be, or double damage, but most likely because of these mods are going to both be 25% chance. The curse effect is going to be higher, but this is going to be another 25% chance. So if you're trying to go for an expensive craft, trying to craft like multiple 25% chance crafts on there is obviously going to get very expensive. There's going to be times where you're going to try to craft this, and you're going to try to craft this, and it's going to blemish. So if you wanted to go with something safer, then say instead of the double damage, we just wanted to craft crit chance or crit damage instead, because this is going to have a 100% success chance. So you always want to start with crafting whatever is going to be the lowest % chance of success. So with this, you're going to click this. When you do click this Reforge button, it will remove any of the blue crafts that you had on here. So if I had another craft here, for example, that was also a blemish, or it also, even if this mod hit T0, in order to get rid of this blemish, I would have to Reforge and this would cause me to lose all of them. This other button here just reforges and it just recrafts the craft that I just tried to do. So this warns you again, it's going to remove everything that we just target processed on there. If we can click this button, I'm going to go ahead and check don't show this again. And we're basically going to be keep clicking this until we get the mod we need. Finishing an item with target processing like this, if you are going for a low percentage mod, can get quite pricey. For the sake of kind of showing this video, we're going to act like this is already a T2 or higher mod. From here, we would basically try to hit the second mod we're trying to hit. Because the success rate on this is kind of low. Say if we were looking for this and we're like, we want at least tier 3 on both mods. At this point, we're like, okay, well, we just have to reforge this and try again. So we got tier 1 this time. So let's hope that we're going to get a high tier on this, because if we don't, then we're just going to have to reroll the other one again. So we got a blemish. So this is where this type of crafting can get really, really expensive, is because we're trying to hit a perfect staff on this, I have to take this T1 that we just rolled and we have to roll over it. And we just have to throw it away, which is unfortunate, but because we're trying to make a perfect staff, this is what we got to do. So now we hit T0. So this is the one where it's like, okay, really hope you don't blemish, because if you do, then we're just going to have to roll over this T0, which the T0 itself was a 1.75% chance of success. So hitting it and missing it is going to feel bad. We got a blemish. That's unfortunate. So from here, if you're really trying to get really greedy, just go for a mediocre staff. You could try to click this again. We got another blemish. So this is one of those ones where it's like, well, unfortunately, we just have to roll over it. Some people, if they do get a T0 on this, instead of crafting, say, the curse effect, they would just go for 2 mods that are both 100% success rate. But that's just kind of what you have to do if you're going to go this route. This is why finishing an item does get kind of expensive. So from here, basically we would have to keep recrafting this again until we hit the mod we want. And then we're just going to try to get the curse effect here. See, this time we got a tier 2. Having a tier 2 is good because you can actually turn a tier 2 into a tier 0. So this one's actually kind of fine here. This spell crit damage ending up low is not ideal or not the best, but this is something we can work with, and from here we can actually dreamcraft this curse effect into T0 as well. So before you want to Dreamcraft, you do want to ensure that your mods are, you do want to ensure that you are using truth embers in order to push the mods to the tiers they want. Because once you Dreamcraft the item, you will no longer be able to use truth embers on the item. So we're gonna have to roll this until we get a high cooldown recovery as well as a high spell damage. We're gonna do this on my other staff here because I actually planned to be doing this right now. So this is a good time to cover it in this video. My other staff that I have here, the Dreamcraft that I did ended up removing the last mod, which was crit damage, and I want to try to get this back. I want to try to get one where it just lowers the tier of one of the other mods instead of this. So we're going to go ahead and rewind this, and we're going to try to craft this again. But so after we rewind it, I am going to have to use Truth Embers again to push these mods up because I really need a very high roll on cooldown recovery. So we're going to be rolling here for a bit. We got to roll this up to closer to 72%. Hopefully we can get it all the way up to 70 at least, something like that, while also getting a good roll on other stuff. That is too low of curse effect. I don't know if I really like that. Yeah, that's too low. Let's try to get one with another roll here. 72, 73 again. Unfortunate. 70, 91. See, this sucks because we didn't get the spell skill level. So we'll roll this again. 69. Nope, that's a level 5 again. Keep going for the cooldown here. That's level 5 again. Can't have that. 72, 88, 6. Okay, this one will work. This is fine. So from here, what we'd want to do here is now we can take this and we can Dreamcraft. So with Dream Interpretation, with my staff that I have on, it's actually kind of ideal that I have two mods that are both tier 2. Because what we're rolling for when we roll this is we're looking for this right here. This when the number affix is lower than tier 1, there's a version of this that upgrades it by 2 tiers. So we're looking for either number 1 affix or number 6 affix. So we're going to abandon this. We're just going to click on this to do this because we might have to cycle this a few times. And we're just going to try to roll it again. Because we missed again, we're just going to keep clicking abandon. This costs maybe, this is like 2.5 FE per click right now. So doing a Dreamcrafting step can be kind of expensive. Because of this, because you know you are most likely going to end up Dreamcrafting your weapon, you don't have to worry about getting any specific base. So that's always nice. Right here. So we got this, but it's for the wrong mod. We don't really care about the flat damage this too much. This is the mod we're actually hoping to hit with the downside of Dreamcrafting, because that is random as well. So let's hopefully be able to get that. So we're just going to have to be clicking here a few times. And let's kind of see what we can get. This is the third mod again. So you can get either very lucky with Dreamcrafting and get something done very quickly, or you can get very unlucky. It really depends, right? So we have this one here, which is the number 1 affix lower than tier 1, upgraded by 1 tier. We don't want that. We want to upgrade it by 2 tiers. So because we want another tier 0. We don't want another tier 1. So we're going to have to keep clicking this a few times, and we might end up having to actually buy some dreams after this as well. Number 4 affix, wrong one. So the other dream crafting that is available here, we'll go ahead and showcase this while we're in the middle of this. The other dream crafting that is available is deep dream crafting. With this, every single item only has a max attempts of 3, a max readability of 3, which is a max 3 attempts at basically hitting the Dreamcraft here. But as you can see, what this says here is this will upgrade two mods by up to 1 to 3 tiers. So you can get really lucky with this and push 2 mods to T0, but you only get 3 total attempts at trying to do that. So I already did attempt that on this staff, and I missed all 3 of them, which those cost like 100 FE per to do the clicks. I failed on those, so now I'm stuck with doing this right here. Oh, I hit the wrong mod again. Number 2 instead of number 1 affix. Dreamcrafting is one of those things that it can get quite expensive depending on what you're trying to do. Having 2 mods like this is at least better than trying to target one specific mod and then one specific downside. That is always a little unfortunate given the cost, but this is the cost of making these nearly perfect endgame items. right here. Number 1 affix lower than T1, upgrade it by 2 tiers. So we are going to record this and hope we hit a good downside here. Right here, perfect. Downgrade the number 3 affix to tier 3. What this actually means is downgrade the number 3 affix by 3 tiers. So this is actually the best thing we were aiming for. This is the exact downside we wanted on this, which was to basically lower the tier of this by 3 tiers, which it lowered it to tier 7. We don't really care about it. It's fine. We got very lucky to actually high roll on this mod when it went to T0 because yeah, if it would have rolled 70%, it would have really sucked. That happened to me earlier when I was trying to roll some boots. I got pushed my movement speed to tier 0, but it was the min roll T0, so it was basically worthless. So yeah, so now the staff is done. We got 4 T0 again. We got our crit damage back, so it's better than where we started off with it. It did cost us, you know, a few hundred FE, but that's kind of the price of what it takes to make these 4 T0 items. The alternative option, right? I spent $1,000 to buy this base. I spent maybe 400 FE in dream crafting it. So it, you know, I could have maybe just gone and bought the staff itself, like fully crafted, for maybe 5,000, 6,000 instead. But I think this route is cheaper. This is the route I go. It is important to look, and I recommend paying attention as well to when you're buying items. If you don't want to buy them with double T0, you can buy them with a T0 and a T1 and kind of gamble to try to hit the second T0 that you want before you go through these steps. It's worth a shot. It depends on how much you want to gamble. You might be able to save some money that way, but most likely you're going to be better off just buying the item already with double T0 because people are going to sell things that they consider missed because it's not perfect anymore. And then for you, you have a perfect mod to target with your dream crafting. So yeah, if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments down below and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And other than that, see you in the next one.